Hey, church, as we continue to walk through this extended season of prayer, we're going to continue to allow the book of Joshua to inform our prayers as we continue to have a posture of dependence upon God. Joshua chapter 10 is where we're going to be this week, a remarkable text where we see a remarkable miracle of the sun standing still. And what led to this moment in history was the Israelites had tremendous victory as they stepped into the promised land. They had defeated Jericho, they had defeated Ai, and they had peace relationships with some of the cities in the promised land, particularly Gibeon, which also had a reputation of having young men who were faithful warriors. And this caused great fear for the surrounding cities that were Amorites. And so the Amorites teamed up, 5 different cities teamed up and said, let's cut off the city of Gibeon from this relationship with Israel, maybe limiting their power. And as a result, the Amorites, led by fear, the text says, come together and they go in to surround Gibeon so that they can defeat this city. Well, the Gibeonites reach out to Joshua and the Israelites and say, hey, we're surrounded by the Amorites. You and us are in peace relationship. Can you come help us out? And so the Israelites come. And as they go into battle, God tells Joshua, do not fear, for I'm going to be with you, and there's going to be victory because I'm with you. And so they come in and they battle the Amorites. The Amorites turn around, run home, and the text says that God threw hail from the sky, and that more people died from the hail falling from the sky than those who died from the sword, as Israel and the Gibeonites held the swords. And as we continue to move through the text, as the Amorites fled, 5 of the leaders from those cities would hide in a cave, and we would see that Joshua would find them, and he would call the leaders from his own nation to come together. And as they stand before these enemies who would confront them and try to defeat them because of their fear, Joshua, who's commanded not to fear, calls his leaders, and they stand before the Amorite kings, and Joshua says, do not fear. Be strong and courageous. The refrain that continues to move throughout the story of Joshua is this command that God gives his people: do not fear, but be strong and courageous. For the Amorites, their fear led them to stand against God, to do things that would oppose God's activity and movement in their land. But for the Israelites, God says, do not let fear control you. Rather, be strong and courageous, for I am with you, God would say to Joshua over and over and over again. And the same is true for us today, is that we are called to be strong and courageous, knowing that God is with us. And our prayer this week, my prayer for you, my prayer with you, my prayer for our city, region, nation, and world, is that God's people would be strong and courageous, that they wouldn't be crippled by fear, but that they would know that God is with them. Please know that I'm praying with you this week, and I count it a privilege to link arms with you as we hold a posture of dependence before God. God bless.